Imagine you're Socrates, a less annoying version of him obviously. You just got sentenced to death for quote-unquote corrupting the youth, in a pretty bad court case because you didn't call Saul. Now you're awaiting execution in a prison when all of a sudden your friend Crito shows up. Now I don't know what prison security was like in ancient Athens, but Crito is somehow in your cell and was actually watching you sleep like the creep that he is. But Crito is not all that bad because he actually has a plan to get you to escape. He's got the money, he's got the connections, he's got the destination. All he needs is your willingness to go. But because you're Socrates and you complicate everything in your life, you decide not to leave for a couple of reasons. But Crito's not having it though, and he makes a couple different appeals, but one really sticks out. If you die, many people who do not know you or me very well will think that I could have saved you if I were willing to spend money, but that I did not care to do so. Surely there can be no worse reputation than to be thought to value money more highly than one's friends, for the majority will not believe that you yourself are not willing to leave prison. Essentially, Crito is not only worried about Socrates, but this could also look bad for his reputation with the majority. And you may make fun of our pal Crito, but come on, we've all been swayed at one point by what everyone else thinks of us. But Socrates, he's not buying it. He goes through this back and forth with Crito to explain why you shouldn't care for what the majority thinks. So Socrates' goal is to prove that we shouldn't care for what the majority thinks. Let's see how he does that. He starts by saying this: "Do you not think it a sound statement that one must not value all the opinions of men, but some and not others, nor the opinions of all men, but those of some and not of others?" So he's starting off by not thinking about majority versus minority, but just people in general. Are there some opinions out there in that general mass of people that are good and some that are bad? Crito agrees, obviously, like yeah, there are good opinions and bad opinions out there, and we should value the good opinions and not the bad ones. Socrates clarifies that the good opinions come from wise men, and the bad opinions come from foolish men. I know the philosophers out there may want to stop here and go down a rabbit hole of what wise means and foolish means, but let's put that aside for now and just use a conventional definition. Socrates then moves on to something a bit more specific. Should a man professionally engaged in physical training pay attention to the praise and blame of any man, or to those of one man only, namely a doctor or trainer? Crito says that he should only care about the doctor or trainer's opinion. Now let's stop here and think about this, because at this exact point, we might have an issue. In today's world, we have the internet, and with the internet, we have a flood of different opinions. As someone who works out myself, I research weightlifting and nutrition stuff here on YouTube all the time. But the problem is deciding who the trainer is, because oftentimes these different YouTube channels have disagreements. So what happens when we have differing opinions from these wise people, to borrow Socrates' language? We then need a new metric to judge an opinion besides what the experts say, because the experts are in disagreement. Perhaps then we might be able to consider the majority opinion, but then what even is a majority opinion? Say you're like me and you want to work on your abs. Now there's two trainers out there. One says to focus on crunches while the other says to do hanging knee raises. We're at a standstill, but perhaps the majority opinion could reflect all of these different individuals trying out these two methods and sharing their experience. If the majority seems to point towards crunches, then that could indicate that more people tried this over that and found that it worked. Now obviously this is a very idealized idea of what the majority opinion could consist of. A majority opinion can form due to propaganda or some other form of misinformation. But if you're literally caught in a 50-50 split between two options, this could be a backup metric to use to help you decide. It's not ideal at all, but it's pragmatic when you're forced to make a decision. So getting back to Socrates, you probably can expect how this goes. He must then act and exercise, eat and drink in the way the one, the trainer and the one who knows, thinks right, not all the others. Crito agrees, and Socrates then relates this to justice and injustice. If we care more about the trainer than the masses, then we should care more about the one who is wise in justice than the majority. But look, there may be disagreements in the world of fitness experts, but there are also a lot of agreements. In the world of moral philosophy though, there seems to be a tsunami of disagreements compared to a small little speck of agreements. I mean, first of all, who even are the experts in what's just? Moral philosophers? Judges? Supreme Court justices? Yeah, I'm sure they never disagree on anything. So who do you choose? How do you judge? Who can you turn to in order to be a just person? I do think Socrates, or I guess Plato since he's writing this, is right that the experts or wise people in a field should probably be given more significance than the opinion of the masses. But step 2, once you find the opinions of these experts, obviously examine them, play with them, compare them, and see if you vibe with a certain position. But in the ultra rare case, I'm talking Red Gyarados rare case, that you've done all this investigation, all this research, all this thinking, and you don't lean one way or the other, and you must choose, then I think it's fair to consider the position of the majority. That's my compromisey position on the issue, cause I know you want to feel like a renegade, going against the grain and being a standout in a world of conformist sheep. And while I agree that obviously the majority doesn't equate to right, that's just a bandwagon fallacy. But I'm not going to say that there's no instance of practicality that the majority opinion can provide, because it's possible, not certain, but possible that the majority opinion could reflect the most accepted and empirically verified expert opinion out there. It'll be very rare instances, I know, but I'm not counting it out entirely, you feel me? So long story short, Socrates refuses to leave, drinks the hemlock, and dies. And on that bright note, be sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell for this video. And let me get your thoughts on the majority opinion. Does it have any legitimacy at all, or is it all just trash? Maybe I'm just being too optimistic here, I don't know. Comment below, and I wish you all a beautiful rest of your day.